And because of that, because of lack of unity among Kenyans in the diaspora, you can't have any progress. You send, as Ababu Namoba said here, and then he left, like every politician, they come, they have their say, and then they leave. So I hope the other two left in the room, when they have their say, they won't leave us. Because how can you engage with people when you come and then you leave without hearing what they have to say? True or false? But back to my point. It's very disrespectful, right? Your lack of unity, and that's not the video, your lack of unity, people, is the reason why you can't get progress. It's the reason why when you send money back home, the money is stolen. And my urge to you that you need to unite. The Kenyan Indian community, the Indian community from India in this country are very, very united. Modi came here, there are 3 million Indian Americans in this country. They have a Diaspora association, they have a direct office, they can be able to vote. You guys need to demand those things from the government. My problem is that when they come here, never tell them the truth. I think it was Roy who spoke here. Are you guys good? No, never mind. No, it's okay. Never mind. Just close it. That's not what I want to show. You see, my concern is, as long as you keep sending money back home, and you send money back home because you want to provide your parents with security, you want them to get a private medical cover, you want your relatives back home to go to private schools, our leaders will never do better. Most of the leaders in this room and most of us went to public schools, and it turned out fine. But our leaders have destroyed public schools, that now we have to take our kids to private schools. Our leaders have destroyed our hospitals. We have to have a private medical cover. We have no security. We have to outsource security and get watchmen for our mothers to be safe and our grandmothers to be safe. And that can be the country that we need to live in. We must stop applying private solutions to public problems. I want you guys to send money, and you send your money back home with demands. That when you send your money to your mother or your sister back home, or your uncle, whoever you're sending the money to, you tell them they must vote wisely. They must elect better leaders. They must, and that can't happen if you guys here, as tribal as you are, this event should have been full. Yes. But because you guys can't work together and you're cutting each other's legs, this event is not full. So we should feel ashamed of ourselves that we left our village and came here and became tribal. That we left our village and became here and joined those cocoons of Kisii Church, Kikuyu Church, Kamba Church, that church, that church. You can't progress like that. If we in the diaspora unite, if you unite and work together, you'll get what you want back home. That is my call to you. I know people say that, I'm doing my little part, I'm sending money back home, but that's not enough. Because as long as you don't demand better, things are going to be problematic. Wangari Maathai said that there was a forest fire. And in this forest fire, there were elephants, giraffe, lions, all big animals. Then all the animals were running away, but there was a very little small hummingbird that was going to pick a drop of water and then put out the fire. A drop of water and then put out the fire. And the bird was asked, why are you doing that? It's all infertility, you shouldn't do that. And the little bird said, I'm doing my little thing. And I want to ask you to find that little thing that will make a difference back home. Maybe you have settled here, you have American kids, you have an American spouse, you have no plans to go back home, but you must give back. You are brought up by a village, you must give back to your village, and you can only give back to your village by demanding better leaders. I spent the last 1 week in New York, and I've met more politicians in New York for the past 1 week that I've ever met for my entire life. I met governors, I met senators, I met ministers, all of them shopping and walking around New York. They're wasting our money. Yes. So, I won't stop accommodating politicians who are stealing from you. Stop accommodating thieves even if they come from a community. Now, back home, what can you do? First step, in your local village, there's someone called member of county assembly. Try and influence who is elected in that low level, because that's where leadership begins. Maybe you can't change the presidency, and you can't change the governor or the senator or the MP, but you can change that low level. Invest in people who are trying to vie for public office that you believe in and hold them accountable. What Kenya has is not a poverty problem. Kenya has a lot of money. What Kenya has is a leadership problem, and we must address that. Yes. So thank you very much for listening to me. And as I conclude,
where do we go? We have nowhere to report to anything. Who do we talk to about this problem?
your unity will come from you. You have a lot of associations. Tell the leadership in those associations to come together and form a unified movement. You have the numbers and you have the money, but you lack a voice because you lack unity. There lies the problem. Your lack of unity is your enemy. And the reason why they can take you for a ride, I'm not pointing at these people, I'm just saying generally politicians can take you for a ride, is because you are not united. Yep. So as you go back home to your Minneapolis, Seattle, all those places, go back with the message that we must work together, that we must unite, because if we don't, we're going to perish together as fools. And if you might be here and you're safe here, but your relatives back home are not safe, and they're still hungry, and they're still living in a very poor state. So use your money wisely, and use your money to influence and to change our country by getting good leaders. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Boniface. And you also have book signing, right?
Yeah.
Writing Unbounded by Boniface Mwangi. If you want a copy, it's here. So, Anthony, if you're ready, suppose you're going to introduce this wonderful lady, Wanda. And Wanda is going to introduce our keynotes. But for now, I think people are hungry. We should.
I was so nervous.
Now.
I don't know why.
Dinner is ready, so.
I don't know. How was it?
Do you want us?
For real?
Few minutes. Do you want us to eat after the speech, right? All right. Okay. I can work with that. So that's good. So.
Our issues we're thinking is if we can unite.
Oh, I have your mic. So you must be listening to my conversation. Yeah.
I'm very happy to introduce my friend Wanda Williams. Wanda, can you stand so people can see me? So I will tell you a little bit about Wanda. Wanda currently serves as the Director of Legislation of Bristol Council 37 in New York. It's the largest union in the state of New York. It has 125,000 members. So if you're in New York, you want to stand to vie for elections, you have to see Wanda. Through her membership, they influence legislation, they influence elections. So she's very, very critical in the state of New York. And then I'll tell you something that you might not know. From 1994 to 1998, Wanda was actually in Kenya. She started the national. Can people stop this and pay a little attention? Thank you.